The partnership between America and Saudi Arabia has really changed the game for both countries. Saudi Arabia got a huge economic boost thanks to oil production, while the US secured a super important energy resource. And speaking of oil, its importance really came into focus during World War II. The US was counting on Saudi oil to power its military operations and keep the nation secure. Fast forward to 1945, and we see President Roosevelt shaking hands with King Abdulaziz, marking an agreement that set the stage for ongoing military cooperation and economic perks for both nations. However, things took a turn during the oil crisis of 1973. Relations between Saudi Arabia and America got rocky, affecting global markets and showing just how delicate international oil relations can be. Now, let's not forget about Saudi Arabia's strategic location. Nestled right at the crossroads of Africa, Asia, and the Middle East, it's crucial for global trade, which makes it a big player in international geopolitics. Then there's the Strait of Hormuz, a major choke point for oil supply. With potential threats from Iran, this area poses serious risks to global economies, especially for big importers like China and India. The partnership between Saudi Arabia and America really hit its peak in the early 90s, especially during the Gulf War. Military intervention was key for keeping things stable in the region, and Operation Desert Shield showed just how committed America was to Saudi security. Post 9/11, things got a bit sticky when some Saudi nationals were linked to the attacks, but both countries still managed to team up in the war on terror, proving they could handle the tough geopolitical waters. Then came the Biden administration, which saw a shift in relations. Focused more on human rights and reducing military support, tensions around the Iran nuclear deal grew. This shift pushed Saudi Arabia to look for closer ties with China and Russia. And in a recent UFC event, Yasser Al-Rumayah's presence showcased the strong ties between Trump and Saudi financial power. It really illustrated how Saudi Arabia plays a role in influencing Trump's political circle. Speaking of influence, Jared Kushner's ties with Saudi Arabia during Trump's presidency highlight some strategic connections. His whopping $2 billion investment from the Saudis raised eyebrows about loyalty and its impact on US policies. Now, Saudi Arabia is taking its investments in sports to another level, pushing for a better global image through what's being called sports washing. Their ownership of major sports events aims to reshape how the world sees them, all while distracting from some controversial practices. The geopolitical scene is changing fast, and Saudi Arabia's investments in technology and defense are really boosting its status as a global powerhouse. This trend might even reshape future alliances. Let's not overlook Saudi Arabia's role in OPEC, where it wields a lot of power in influencing global oil prices. This leadership impact is felt way beyond its borders. Despite being the largest oil producer, America still counts on Saudi Arabia to keep global oil prices stable. This dependency really came to light during the 2022 crisis in Ukraine.